Welcome in to the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, writer and editor over at Wildcats Today. And with me, as he will be going forward, is my co-host, Carson Nash. Carson, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, everybody. What's up, Andrew? How are you?
I'm pretty good, but not pretty good after looking at the way this Florida Gator team rebounds the basketball. And let's throw these numbers out before we get really into discussing this. So Florida is the 13th best team in college basketball in rebound margin at plus 11. They are the number one team in all of college basketball in total rebounds per game, 45.38. And then the number that really scares me, they're the number 4 team in college basketball in offensive rebounds, collecting 16.15 a game. And my concern there immediately, obviously rebounding, on the defensive side of the floor is a concern. If they're getting 16 offensive rebounds and they're able to get, 7 baskets, 6 baskets off those second chance opportunities, that can have a huge effect on this basketball game. So Carson, hearing those numbers, what has Kentucky got to do to combat the Gators' ability to rebound the basketball?
Well, one, they have to be more physical. We have not been a very physical basketball team up to this point. We just haven't, which also helps us because we're guard heavy and we score a lot of points. But that doesn't mean our big men can't be more physical. Letting up 24 offensive rebounds to Illinois State on Saturday was pitiful. Cal in the post game was livid. It's just unreal to see those numbers against not very good team. Illinois State's not very good. They're not a good Ken Palm ranked team.
Looking at that, which first of all, are you serious? 24 offensive boards? Are you serious?
No, I am pretty certain that is a fact.
That I did not. First of all, I did not know that. But looking at this, that is concerning. Here's the deal. Because what are we talking about? Illinois State. You're playing Illinois State. You should be physically dominating Illinois State. Now, okay, you go play one of the best rebounding teams in college basketball after giving up that performance against Illinois State. That is, I'm not going to lie to you. And you're right. I just looked it up. 24 offensive. I'll be honest with you. I didn't believe you. I did not believe you. I really didn't. That is truly astronomical that happened. And listen, if that doesn't have you concerned, we both think Kentucky's going to win this game, and we're going to get into that. But if that doesn't have you a little bit concerned, I don't know. Those numbers, this game, listen, they don't shoot the ball well. They shoot 33% from 3. They shoot 65% from the free throw line, which the fact that that's a Division I basketball team is really insane to me. They aren't a great shooting team. What they are is a gritty, get it done basketball team. Rebound the basketball, second chance points, score around the rim. That's how they're going to try and beat you. Now, they are a guard-heavy team, which is funny because they don't have the build of this type of team. Like Texas A&M, for example, who the Cats play coming up soon, plays basketball similar to the way Florida does. But they're a bigger team. So it's interesting to me that Florida plays the way they do, but they do. And Coach Cal, in his radio show the other day, made it very clear that rebounding was a priority for this team all week long. So, Carson, before we recorded, you were talking about the importance you think Ugonna Onyenso is going to have in this game. So what are your thoughts there? How important is he going to be?
Yeah, so most people, Ugo is just a couple minutes off the bench per game type of guy. But Ugo is a physical hustle player. That kid, just kind of like a Duthiero. He always goes 100 when he's on the court. And with Florida having these big guys and averaging great offensive rebound numbers, I think that he should play more minutes. I just do for this game. Maybe not in the future, but definitely for this game because he also he's 5 more fouls. which is great considering how poor they shoot from the free throw line. So you could even get him in foul trouble and be fine with his minutes.
This brings me to a point that I hadn't really thought about, but I think it's a solid argument to make here. With that Texas A&M game coming up, because you got to remember, you play Florida in Gainesville, you host Missouri in Lexington at Rupp, and then you go to College Station to take on Texas A&M Aggies. And I'll tell you, I think Texas A&M, the record 9-4, they've played a tough non-conference schedule. The Aggies have. Looking at their numbers, I think they are a better and bigger Florida team. That's what they are. So I think that this Florida game, assuming you go down there, you get the win, you take care of business, is an opportunity to kind of learn, okay, here's a blueprint for how to beat a team like this, because we play one a week from today, talking tomorrow. And because, like I said, Texas A&M, which you and I will break down that game when we get closer to it after the Missouri game, but that is something that I'm paying attention to. It's funny, my confidence in Kentucky to win this game, but I don't feel great about the rebounding. And I know we're beating the drum here on the rebounding, but at the end of the day, that is the mismatch. Every other metric, pretty much, the Cats take. It is rebounding, and rebounding alone is where the Gators are a better basketball team. And it's kind of funny because it's a bit of a weakness for the Cats. Your best rebounder is probably Adu Thiero. I know Trey Mitchell averages the most rebounds on the team, but Adu Thiero is just that hustle. He'll get you offensive boards. We assume he's going to be good to go. I know I haven't heard anything otherwise. He missed the Illinois State game with general soreness. I plan to see him out there, but if he's not out there, which, like I said, plan to see him out there, but if he is not out there, that would be incredibly concerning. But like I said, as we sit right now, everything I've heard, it sounds like he will be out there. And the next thing I want to talk about, Carson, tell me about the line on this game. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, honestly, no. But after talking about all these woes and how they are so dominant with offensive rebounds, I can see where people can get the idea of this. Also, they're a very veteran-heavy team. Most of their best players are old grad transfers. So it's our first SEC true road test. I mean, you also got to throw that in there. These kids are young. We're a young team. As much fun, as much fire as we have, we're young. It's going to be an exciting game. I'm going to take the Cats because I have confidence in them, but it's interesting for sure.
Let me throw this hypothetical at you, because I was looking at some of the SEC matchups, and on ESPN, it gives you that little circle, the ESPN matchup predictor.
Yeah.
So, because this to me is crazy, and I want to get your thoughts on it. It gives the Cats a 38.4% chance to go into Gainesville and win this basketball game, which is, I've talked about all week how insane that is. Okay, so then you say to yourself, it's a good, not great Florida basketball team on the road. I've talked about all week. I know you played on the road at the KFC Yum Center, but we all saw, you were there at that game. We all saw the crowd. It was a lot of blue and white, not a lot of red. So this is, to me, the Cats' first true road test. Played some environments in Atlanta, but like I said, it was 50-50. There were Tar Heels, there were Cats. It was loud both ways. Everybody had their support system. But so here's where my question comes. The Auburn Tigers are going on the road. I was looking at different SEC matchups, and one of the ones I pulled up was Auburn versus Arkansas, just to see where the matchup prediction, where they lie. Auburn is projected to go into Arkansas, and ESPN's matchup predictor gives them a 67.9% chance to win this game. So explain that to me, how we discuss, and Auburn's a good basketball team. I think Arkansas can be a good basketball team. I think they have a high ceiling. They haven't had the year that they'd hoped. But explain to me how this matchup predictor thinks that Auburn is going to go into Fayetteville and beat Arkansas, but Kentucky's not going to go into Gainesville and beat Florida. Because I think Florida and Arkansas are very similar teams. They're both okay, good, not great basketball teams. And I think Auburn is a good basketball team, and Kentucky is an excellent basketball team. So, I mean, does that make any sense to you? Doesn't to me.
Thanks for pulling that up because I didn't look at other predictors. That is kind of outrageous. Also, considering that Kentucky has won the last 5 in Gainesville. They have. And
7 of 10, too.
Yeah,
so it's not
7 of 10.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good percentage there because we know previously when Florida was rocking Patrick Young and Scotty Wilbekin, they were a tough team to beat, especially there when Billy D was the coach. 7 out of the last 10 is very impressive, and I think our hot streak continues.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, and that's 7 out of 10 in Gainesville. We're not talking against Florida. We're talking in Gainesville. The Cats have played well on the road, 5 in a row. The last loss, and I called you, Carson, when I found this stat because, and I asked you, I said, guess Kentucky's record in their last 5 games at Gainesville. And I think you said 3-2. And I'm like, they're 5-0. And that's why it was such a surprise because when I looked it up, I figured they would be 3-2 just because it's not the craziest environment in college basketball, but it's not a fun place to play if you're an opposing team. So that stood out to me, and that was definitely interesting. I think the Cats get it done here. This start to SEC play for Kentucky is we're going to learn a lot. Missouri, the Cats should beat Missouri in Rep Arena. But if you start 3-0 or take that a step further with your game after A&M being Mississippi State at home, if you start 4-0 with wins on the road at Florida, at A&M, at home against Mizzou, and at home against Mississippi State, who I still think is a top half team in the SEC, this Kentucky team is on its way to an SEC regular season title. Which another point, and then we'll call it a day. Last thing, did you see that Kentucky's odds to win the SEC regular season title on FanDuel Sportsbook? They were 3rd in the SEC behind Tennessee first, Auburn second at plus 600. Kentucky was.
That's a beautiful number.
So
for Kentucky fans,
why are people? Is it strictly the UNC Wilmington loss? Why are folks continually underrating this basketball team?
I honestly am not sure because in years previously, we've been a tad bit overrated, and we could see that in early losses in March. Sorry, but it's outrageous. I think I don't see how you could put Auburn over Kentucky, and I don't see how you can put Tennessee over them right now just by the eye test. Yeah, Tennessee, they've lost to 3 good teams, but they haven't really beat any great teams. And Auburn is a good team. They're younger. They got some old in the front court, but they're a good team too. But plus 600 for Kentucky right now, I think everyone should go take that because I think Kentucky's the best team in the SEC as of now. Just eye test. I think a lot of people are also like pushing away the Miami win because they got beat by Colorado recently after that. But Miami's starting to turn a corner. They're starting to look like a good basketball team.
Who'd they just beat? Literally last night, they beat. Now I got to pull it up. They beat somebody, a ranked team last night at home in the ACC, I believe. Let me see who it was.
Yeah, and they scored 95 points.
Yeah, I just can't remember who it was. But I'm pretty sure it was a name that I'll tell you right now. Oh, it was Clemson, which Clemson we still don't know if they are legit or not. But still, I mean, taking Clemson down by 13 points at home. Miami is no joke. And that to me matters because, people were quick to say that after Kentucky kind of boat raced them. Miami's a good veteran-led basketball team. It's going to end up being a quad 1 win, I do think, when the season ends. But this is going to be a good football. This is going to be a good basketball game. I think the Cats get the win. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think it's going to be a gritty win, but I think a win over Florida on the road is the perfect way to start SEC play and to really solidify yourself as, hey, okay, we went on the road against a top half team in this conference and beat them down. That is going to be big. And then you come home, take care of business against Missouri, beat A&M, beat Mississippi State, go on a bit of a run. And I think the sky is the limit for this Kentucky basketball team. Carson, anything else before we call it a day?
No, got to get the ball rolling. Go Cats.
Yeah, got to get a big win. That is going to do it for today's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. We'll be around. We're planning to do a show on Monday, recapping hopefully a Kentucky win and then previewing the Missouri game, and so on and so forth. That is the plan. If y'all are seeing this on YouTube, like and subscribe. We just got this podcast rolling. You can read the written work for Wildcats Today over at Wildcats Today. I write and edit over there, so you can go check that out. Appreciate you. Hope everybody has a great rest of your day today. Enjoy the weekend, enjoy the ball game, and we will see you on Monday.